This is Eric, and he likes Calico.
This is Armolio, and he likes video games.
This is Felipe, he loves soccer.
And this is Angelica, and she loves to read.
And that's Blanca, and she really likes to party.
So now let's all get up and get in a circle, please.
Circle of life, circle
Standing up.
And we go to the...
Yeah, in a circle, right here. Okay, so now I'm going to take this ball and throw it to someone, and that person is going to say an interaction they've had with someone that's intellectually disabled or physically disabled. So now I start.
And what happens if you...
And if you do it under 30 seconds, then you get a shot.
If we know someone who is disabled.
If you have had an experience with someone that is disabled, and you can say if it went well, if it didn't go well, if you didn't know what to do, just explain your thing in under 30 seconds.
So one of the experiences I have with one disabled person was we were playing basketball in their wheelchairs, and unfortunately one of them fell down, and I had to help them along with my friend. In the end it turned out well, but we both got really nervous.
Good.
Now just press it.
You can try to almost anyone you want.
Diego.
Alright, this experience with a person. Well, when I was in a restaurant, there was this guy with his son. He wasn't that small. He was pretty big, and well, you could tell he was disabled because the way he moved and stuff. And I just saw him. His dad was helping him eat, and it just sparked a conversation between me and my family. And we didn't have actual interaction with them, but we just saw them, and yeah.
Okay. Try to somebody else. One more person.
When I was at church, there was a little girl, como que 8 years old, and she was blind, and she fell, so I had to help her stand up.
We're going to have a time for our next one. Just throw it randomly.
Well, I had many interactions with disabled people, and one of them, it's in my elevator in my building. It's like a really nice guy, but it's like really awkward when I'm in the elevator alone with him. Well, and he's not even. Like, I don't know. It's like, how to interact with someone, and I would like to learn a lot about that. And I have gone in the Special Olympics with them. Thank you.
Okay, guys, break this down. Everyone to take a seat, please.
Okay, take a seat, guys.
Okay, so can I get your attention, please? Right now, my colleagues are going to be handing you a paper, and and it's a test that you need to complete in 2 minutes. So do your best, and the answers are in the text, so see how you do.
It should be really easy for you guys. It's really quick. The answers are all in the paper. Okay. Okay, so everything is in the paragraph. I want to see some of you writing. I don't see anybody writing.
Before you start,
Right.
before you start, I have to ask a question. Please raise your hands if you did not get it. How about if I told you that is what a special athlete experiences? He's not getting the same opportunities that everyone else in the room is getting just because they're different.
Okay. So, okay, if you don't hold pencil, can you please tell me the answer verbally? You can do that as well. Why hasn't anybody? Can you guys try harder? I don't see anybody writing anything. It's too hard. What do you mean it's too hard? It's too hard.
Start True. I don't think that's how it works. Bro, so I'm trying
Okay, everyone. She's saying she can't do this.
This is really hard.
Okay, so because you're saying it's too hard, we're gonna show a text sign here, and this is in English, so you should be able to do it, right? You all speak English and read English here, right?
We're gonna give you another test because I think you guys can do this one. Oh, look!
No, that's not.
You wrote something! You tried. You tried.
Okay, now we're gonna show you a paragraph.
Okay, so what's gonna happen now is that let's all read aloud this paragraph
And while we're reading it out loud, you need to count the number of F's.
in the little paragraph. Okay, so finished files are the
Hey, I
results.
wanna hear everybody.
Everyone read it out loud and at the same time count it.
Finished files are the results of the combined experience of many years. 4. Okay. 6. 3. 7. 4. 8.
Okay, how many people saw 3 F's?
F. Raise your hand if you saw 4. If you saw 4, raise your hand.
Raise your hands if you saw 5.
Raise your hands if you saw more than 5.
Okay, there are actually 6 F's in the paragraph, and we're gonna show you right here. There's finished files are there. Result of scientific and of. Okay, but what happens here is you're not able to count all the F's while reading it out loud because your brain tricks you. While you're reading, the sound of sounds like a B, so you don't get the F sound, and that tricks you. So that's how a special athlete or intellectually disabled person feels every day. So imagine, if you, how do you feel right now when you did it and you didn't count all the F's?
Stupid.
How did you feel when you did the German test?
Inferior.
Could you do it?
Inferior.
Did it help in any way when we started screaming at you to do it better?
No?
How
Because
did it feel for us to be telling you, you can do it, it's right there, it's easy?
Like, no one can.
Like, we're
So the same with the F test. It felt terrible to be tricked by your brain. As my son, my colleague, this is what a special athlete lives with every day in his life. He's tricked by his own brain.
Okay, so this is the Special Olympics. These are the athletes and the people that we have to help every Saturday. And we have really clear goals of what SO does, or the Special Olympics. So the first thing we want to do as an organization is to change the perception. The public perception of the athlete or the intellectually disabled person, that people think that they're not as competent as normal people. They think that they are incapable of independent living. And they also think that they shouldn't be educated alongside people who are non-intellectually disabled. And when I say they, I mean that in a census, like if you go around asking people in the street, like, do you think a person with intellectual disability can live by his or herself? They're gonna tell you, no, they need help. Well, this is not true. So part of what we do is also to empower them. And we help them through the sport to develop their full potential and reach their full potential and become the person they are meant to be with the abilities that they have, because this is what they do through sports. And the last thing is overcoming discrimination. We want to introduce to everyone the crazy notion that differences are not to be a subject of discrimination. And that's something that it's still present, believe it or not. As you saw, 180 hate crimes are still committed every day in the UK. And it's all about the differences, because we seem to not be able to embrace them the way we should, to empower and push society forward. So that goes along with what's known as embracing the differences, the way we do every Saturday. So because we value the differences, we think that this is what is good for us to move forward as a society, as I said before. So undoubtedly, dealing with people who are intellectually disabled, conflicts can arise very easily. So conflicts can arise as well due to these differences, but thanks to them, we have learned that skills for successful conflict prevention. So the more you go to the Saturday practices and you help these athletes the way we have done, we learn that we can help them and they can learn from us as well.
So like she said, we're not a recreation center. We try to teach them things and like be with them, but we also learn a lot from them.
Okay, so with the German test and the S test, you completed the step 1 to conflict prevention with an intellectually disabled person, or it's a skill you need for a conflict prevention, and it's to be aware of what the problem is. And that's what we do every Saturday.
So what he is trying to say is exactly that the first step for conflict prevention in any scenario is to be aware that the other person either thinks differently or is physically differently, and you have to, when talking to people or interacting with them, know that they don't come from the same background as you might be from, and you have to really be careful with that, and that's what we do.
So our next part will be addressing.
Okay, so next we're gonna have an activity, and I'm gonna be handing out some cards to a few of you, not all of you. So, who wants to volunteer? Me.
Bubble.
Okay, so he's gonna hand them out, and those are the first ones. It's like 4 people. So read the card that you have, and you're gonna have to become that character. You're gonna have to play the role and become the character. So the people who got cards, please stand up and come here.
Okay, so right now you are all going to become excellent volunteers. And when you see the situation, you're going to help us out, figure out what to do next when this conflict arises.
Okay, so just try to be the person there, okay? Just try to become that person, like get into the mindset, like what would it be to be that person? And we're gonna give you a scenario and you have to try to act it out. And then the people that are in the crowd right now, you guys are gonna, let's say you guys are the volunteers. So I'll ask one of you later to tell me what you would do in this situation. So pay attention to what's happening. Okay, so right now, let's say we are in Panama. We're at a basketball game for special athletes, and whoever the 2 athletes are, they're gonna get into an argument. So just argue. Argue, okay.
Who wants to speak to the coach? I'm the coach.
Okay.
Well, what's wrong?
Okay, so I don't want you guys to try to mimic what they would do. I just want you to
Okay, like let's say
as whatever you would do, just what would you do in this situation? Just become the character. So she is a 10-year-old boy who's autistic. You want to read it?
Okay, I am a 10-year-old boy. I am autistic. I love running. I love people, but I'm very picky. I always need to be accompanied by someone.
Well, I'm a 48-year-old man. I have the mentality of an 8-year-old. I have a problem with my leg. I play basketball a lot. I am confident and I do not accept help from others.
I am a coach at Special Olympics, and I'm confident, I know what I'm doing, and I organize the events.
Okay, so we have the 2 athletes and the coach. So let's say that these 2 are playing basketball. And for example, you are trying to play and he tries to get the ball away from you because he wants to play and you're not letting him. So just try to create an argument.
I want to play basketball, but she kicked my leg.
Why would you kick her leg? What's wrong? Why?
He's getting in the way of
No, yeah.
Wait, let her speak.
No, please.
No, he's
No,
getting in
I'm
the way
right.
of me running. I'm trying to run this way, but he's not letting me.
Okay, so who played the ball first?
Me.
Me?
Are you sure?
Yes. I'm sure.
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
What would you do if you were in this situation? Stand up and tell us what you would do.
as a volunteer.
Like just to try to help the situation. These two athletes are fighting. The coach is obviously not helping very much. So what would you do in this situation to help? Like to try to make the situation better?
It's hard, right? It's hard. So it's really hard to think about the skills you need to solve a certain situation. And these are the skills that you actually use throughout the rest of your life, everywhere. So, do you want me to tell you what I would do? Okay. So, for example, I know that or in this case, he's an autistic boy, and he really needs to be with somebody. And getting the feeling of the moment might not be the best for either of them. So what I would do was go up to him and just give him a hug. And just let this person, this boy, just stick to me because he needs somebody there. And just take him away from the problem. And then you can calm him down. Just calming down the situation can actually solve it. So that's very important. So as you can see, it's kind of hard to know at the right moment what to do. So
Okay, we're gonna give a different scene so you guys can give her the cards or one of them cards.
Can I give it to somebody else?
More volunteers? Okay.
Give it to someone else.
No, wait. I have these.
that was a good job, guys.
Wait, I can't do
No.
Who else wants one? Okay, there's one more. Okay. Please come to the front of the room.
So, okay, I think it helps if you guys know the characters, right? So we're gonna have them read their profile so you might be aware of their personality and just to tell what you can do next.
I am a helicopter mom.
Oh, God.
I am very overprotective of my child and I question everything that coaches does. I have a comment about everything.
I'm a 9-year-old sister. My little brother has Down syndrome. I'm very overprotective. I do not want anyone to help my brother other than me. And I'm social but won't let anyone.
I'm a coach, I'm stubborn, I know what I'm doing, and I'm impatient.
I'm a 42-year-old man. I cannot move my hands and I have no verbal ability. I'm very enthusiastic. I can get out of control if I'm not listened to. I always try to communicate in any way I can.
I am a 4-year-old boy. I have Down syndrome and I cannot communicate at all. I have the mental ability of an 8-month-old baby and I'm always happy and never complain.
So now our problem is that the helicopter mom is fighting with the coach because she feels that her son does not get enough attention as he actually needs.
Hey, why are you looking why are you looking bad at my son?
I'm not looking bad
Yes, you are. You're staring at me.
I'm trying to
Stop staring at me.
Stay out
Stop
of the
staring at me.
situation. I know what I'm doing.
You don't know. Stop lying here.
You don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
Okay,
You
stop.
calm down.
Okay, stop one second. Okay, so now they're arguing, the kid is just in between, and these two other athletes, they don't know what to do. One of them can't speak, they don't know what's going on. Now they're,
is trying to
the sister also wants to help. Okay.
Oh.
So the sister is also there, but she doesn't know what to do. Then the other one's being left out, and there's a huge argument, so what would you do? Get up and tell us, what would you do to help the situation?
That's the first step.
Okay, does anyone know what they would do to help the situation? Raise your hand if you know. Anyone else?
Me.
Okay.
I want to say remove the little kid.
No, because
Remove how?
Oh, yeah, that probably would have worked. Yeah, I guess not, because she's the mom. She's not gonna let, I can't just grab the kid. Never mind. I don't know.
Okay, well.
So me as a volunteer, I would first talk to the mom about how she feels and get both sides of the story first. Usually the coach knows the athlete more on a sporting level, unlike the mom who knows the child more at home and as the parent, obviously. So I'd get both sides of the story and then try to figure out what's wrong between both the coach and the mom.
Do you have any other ideas? Anything counts, like really.
Yeah, she's got an
Yeah.
I would tell the mom to go and the coach to continue playing with the others.
In a very nice and respectful way.
I have a question. What happens in the meantime with the person who's the other disabled person? Like, are they like anxious?
Normally. Normally, because he requires attention, he might turn aggressive. We're not included in this situation. And volunteer normally, because we're always in groups in case of this incident. Well, one is being with the mother trying to get like the backstory, what's going on. Another one will be with that athlete, making sure that he's fully taken care of to prevent another conflict.
I have another idea. I will make like a strict rule that parents shouldn't be like in the room with that while they're playing and doing the sports, because you know they might get anxious or like.
That is actually a very good thing that she
For
just
all
said.
the
Yes,
But
thank you.
you have a helicopter mom.
But this is what it's supposed to happen, actually what she said. There is actually a rule where parents actually stay in the sidelines or like, yeah, the bleachers where we are.
Like they're on the top with
They seldom do this because of that rule. She's right. We volunteers really emphasize that. But it happens sometimes. So, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do a last one.
Can I ask you another question? In a situation like that, and I'm asking this as a teacher because I really don't know anything about this. How do you, the parent knows probably more about their disability. And it's an awkward position because you're telling them the kid is fine, right, maybe?
Right.
And maybe you don't know. How do you guys talk to someone who perhaps, I mean, I guess you would know more about the disability than a random person like me, but what approach can one do in that case?
Okay, so I can tell you what you can't do. So if you see something like this happening, the worst thing you can do is like look at them bad or like move away. If you have kids, move them away because that makes them all feel bad, like not just the
No,
kid.
it'll probably just make everything worse.
Yeah. So the indifference is probably like the worst thing you can have, and that's something that even like in all the conflicts in the world, like some in world conflicts, nations sometimes are just like ignoring the problems that there are, and that's just not. So like either you can, if you can address it, if you can, then do it. If you don't, then just look for somebody else that can help you or just listen. Sometimes the mom just wants to be heard. So I've had that experience. So they come up to me and they're like, my kid, no sé qué, and I'm like, yes, okay, I write down something, you know, like just try to make them feel like their kid is secure in any case. So that's what I would do.
Okay. So, wait.
Yes.
Okay,
Good job, girls. Good job.
Okay, last one. Raise your hand if you want to come up here and have a card. Raise your hand if you want to have a card.
Yes, Miss Colo. What's your name? I'm sorry, guys. Can you say your names when you come up here? I totally missed that, but.
Okay, everyone, whoever's here, read out your card.
I'm a coach at the Special Olympics. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing, and I organize events. I think I am. I am a 35-year-old woman. I love being a leader. I love being a leader and guiding to others. I can be very bossy. I play bocha every Saturday. I am passionate about the game.
I'm a 4-year-old boy. I have Down syndrome. I cannot communicate at all. I have the mental ability of an 8-month-old baby. I'm always happy and never complain.
And guess who I am? I am a helicopter mom. I am very, very overprotective of my child. And I question everything the coaches do, and I have a comment about everything.
Okay, so in this situation, there's a fire where we are. And everybody is running around, and the coach is trying to get a group of people together this way. This kid, you are the mom, so you are just behind.
Wait, she's,
No.
I'm not a mom of 30. I'm a woman.
No. So you, the woman, I'm sorry.
So it says that you're like confident and you want to be the leader. So you're trying to tell everyone what to do, but you don't know what you actually
I'm
have
not
to
going
do.
to be telling you what to do.
You're trying to tell her what to do, but she's trying to tell you, and then she's trying to tell you. So it's like.
So the helicopter mom and the child have separated themselves. And the child, is a girl or a boy? Sorry.
I'm a boy.
Okay, so this boy comes up to a volunteer, any of you, and says that he has to go to the bathroom.
In the middle of the fire.
And exactly, in the middle of fire, and the fire is in the bathroom.
And it's raining outside.
Yes. What do you do?
Calm down. Everybody,
You need to calm down.
everybody needs to leave.
No, you can't tell me you calm down.
You have to run out. There's fire everywhere.
As you can see,
I'm telling you, there's fire. You need to run out.
okay, as you can see,
Listen to me. You need to mind no one else.
as you can see, it's very chaotic. This situation is very, 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 very chaotic. And this boy, who is autistic, really needs to go to the bathroom.
And he doesn't understand that he can't go because there's a fire in there.
What do you do?
No, I was thinking her to like the outside of a bathroom.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Anybody else have any other ideas? Yeah.
So maybe you can, like, instead of taking him to the bathroom where the fire, you can, like, provide maybe something else in where he can go quickly. Because he doesn't, like, he won't be able to understand what's going on, so it's better just to let him.
Any other ideas besides those two really good ones? No?
What about distracting them? Would that work?
For a little bit, actually. So you try to calm them down, and of course, listen. You've been hearing like the stuff that we do. A lot of it is listening. Just listening to the person first before speaking. That's very important. So I want all of you guys to pay attention to me for 1 second, because I'm going to tell you this. All of those situations actually happen. And the fire, it happened to me.
What happened to all of us when we were there?
But the kid came to me, and he said that he wanted to go to the bathroom. And so, okay, if you know me, I'm very passionate about the athletes, and I really try to protect them at all times. And I did exactly what he suggested, and she as well. I try to calm them down first, calm him down, and just make him just hug me or whatever he needed to do. And then I had to go outside in the rain and go past the police people, talk to them, and go into the bathroom in the restaurant next door. And I had to do all of this because sometimes that's what you have to do to prevent a conflict. That kid could have started crying and running around and maybe get hurt, you know?
And then in the meantime, there was smoke and everyone was panicking and we had to, the other
They
ones who
all
were there,
busy.
we were all there, we all had to calm down the other people, we couldn't help her and
And we couldn't
everyone
also-
was panicking.
We have to be fast
Were the
because at the
people
same time there's a
nervous?
fire in the background.
And overprotective mom got crazy with you when you got her kid.
Yes.
There you go.
Another conflict right there.
She was trying to like tell everyone what
Why
to
did
do.
the mother tell you that she played bocce?
He tells me that, I'm like, organized, he's like, I play bocce, I'm like, oh my god, what is happening right now?
Good job. That's what they actually do. They just tell you
They
what
just
they
tell
know.
you that I'm good at this.
Okay, thank you very much. You were all really, really great.
I play bocce.
Okay, one more thing. Okay, we're gonna do one last thing. It's fast. Just everyone pay attention, please. Okay.
So for the last activity, I'm gonna ask you all to tell me, after all that you've learned, what would you do with any situation like this? In a situation, in like of the situation, in
So-
any type of like conflict, what would you do now? that
A
you've learned?
skill.
One word.
One skill.
One word. Say how you would prevent conflict.
Yes. Yes.
Hold.
Yes.
Try to calm them down.
Yes.
No one here has.
All of this.
No one here.
Ask for help.
Yes.
Ask
Yes. Asking for help is very important.
Also,
Distract.
so who got a chocolate in the very beginning because they said that their experience in under 30 seconds?
Raise your hand if you got a chocolate.
For the 30 seconds experience.
So
Okay, so
remember your situations. What now? One word specifically in that situation that you were in. What would you do? So
With all that you know about.
with Diego, he was in his restaurant
Yes.
and he didn't know what to do, and he was
What was your
just
situation?
yeah.
Did you have a conflict?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just like
Well, no, Antonella, you were in the elevator and you didn't know how to act. So
Uh-huh,
what would
but
you do
didn't have
next?
a conflict, but it's like awkward.
Yeah. So
But now you know what you can't do, right? So what can't you
Yeah,
do?
sometimes.
Okay, but tell me, I told Ms. Godo here something very important about something that they can't do in any situation, even if there's no conflict.
Act indifferent.
Okay, yes. So just looking at them like bad or something like that. It's just,
You were so awkward when you were told me.
yeah. So I hope you guys at least learn a skill because those are the same skills that you're gonna use when talking to other people about business. Sometimes people fight at school. It's the same thing. You listen. You try to lower your voice, calm the situation down. Maybe somebody just needs a hug. Like those are the things that will make you a negotiating person and preventing conflicts throughout your life. And this is what we want to do with the Special Olympics, which is just awareness of the people, where they come from. If you don't know, just don't blurt out whatever, your opinions without knowing, and addressing. If you have to address something, do it. It's better than being indifferent. Okay, so thank you guys.
Fight for your rights. Who did not get chocolate because of being different? Mariana knows.
I didn't get chocolate.
You got chocolate.
Oh yeah, so.
So now
Yeah, around 8 minutes left.
Guys,
So if you can ask questions, discuss what you learned, and then when the clock strikes 4:45, we will be dismissed. But until then, you can discuss about what you learned.
Actually, we have a game for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Your name?
Guillermo.
Okay, Guillermo said he was playing bocha up here. Did any of you know what that was?
No.
Guillermo knows, he said he knows. Okay, so would you guys like to learn? We're gonna do a little game right now.
Who wants to play?
What's bocha? So,
Okay.
they already explained what's bocha.
Okay, we're gonna explain.
Oh, we know it. You know bocha? How about if you explain?
8 people.
I know, so we need 8
Okay,
names.
someone that hasn't come up yet. Isabela, Alex. Who hasn't come up yet?
Carlos!
Who else wants to go? Okay. Come on. Come on. It's not
After you throw
Okay, now, so,
wanna play?
okay, so, you play bocha?
So we have,
Guys, pay attention, please.
this is a bocha. So we have 8 of them, and we're gonna divide you guys into teams, 4 and 4.
This side, please. And 4 here.
You're ready?
Es que son los colors.
Hay muchos colores.
Okay, so.
Hagan que todos vayan a un solo lado, a este lado. Okay, you guys go to this corner, and the other 4 people go to that corner over there. Alright, close together, close together. You guys are a team.
So, now, this is what bocha consists of. Normally, there's kind of like a field right here, where it's divided in lines. Here we'll do it like 2 times? 3 times. Okay, so the first person will be throwing the little
The
white
little
ball.
ball.
This will be thrown in anywhere here. The point of the game is for you to roll your ball and be the closest to the white ball. You're allowed to knock out the balls of other people to move them away from the white ball.
So whoever throws this ball, it's gonna land wherever, and the teams have to try to get as close as they can to that ball.
Okay,
But
so
wait.
usually flip a coin. You can.
But wait, this is Special Olympics. So you're gonna have some twist. So,
Okay.
you
If it happens, it happens.
So we usually like flip a coin to know who goes first. In this case, we're just gonna do like a number from 1 to 5. You say a number. Okay, Okay, so they're gonna start. So what's gonna happen now is that we're gonna give you guys a physical disability. So it's gonna be harder for you to play. Okay. So your right hand is disabled. You have to use your left. Okay. You just have to start with
that's all you can use.
Agáchate un poquito.
So agáchate, tienes que agacharte. Okay, so right here.
It's supposed to be played on the grass or sand. So right now it rolls.
So the next player on this team would go now. Same thing. Now you can move your left hand like this, and you can't move this foot. So you can bend it, but I mean it's harder to do walk. So just try to do it and get close to that ball. You're good. You also do it.
Now the next player,
The next team, try to do it. Okay.
You cannot use your legs. You're paralyzed from the bottom down.
So you can like
So
that.
you have to. You
can't bend
cannot
down with
stand.
your
You
knees.
cannot stand. You cannot bend down.
Like that.
It's good.
Okay.
Okay, now from this
Ahora take this team. Okay.
Okay, now your hand is stuck in this position and you can only use your right hand. So you have to find a way to throw it. Not like
Right.
see, right hand
Esa
is
mano
like this.
is like this, but you have to throw it that way, but you can't move it. Like, it has to be done.
That's actually somebody.
That's actually.
Yeah, that's actually something that.
Okay. So yeah. For the
next team?
No, it's not.
There you go.
Okay, got it.
Your hand is twisted toward this side. This side is the way.
Then they do it however they can.
Wow.
Close, close.
That wasn't close.
But remember, the
Y también te puedes parar, si quieres. También te puedes parar para por si te está tapando alguien, te puedes ir a otro lado del salón.
No catch all the other balls.
Tiene, pero es real así. Están.
Donde sea que puedas tener una buena toma.
Your left leg is stiff, so you cannot move it, and you have a lot of issues with balance and coordination. So you might.
So somebody help you.
Sí. Exactly. Eso. You see how she gets better when people help her?
Carlos.
What do you see? Next, you see it? Okay.
That's gonna be.
Okay.
He's blind.
But you can't move like your hand.
know.
You have strong sticks stuck this way. So you gotta find a way to actually
Go
like
down.
that.
Canino.
Yeah.
Of course, that's your own physical disability.
Can I click these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna.
Yeah, she's been hiding. We have those too.
Your hands are like stuck almost crossed, and you have difficulty in balance, so you will need someone to help her out in turning. Cross?
Bend down.
Difficult in balance.
Does it get better?
Wow!
Okay, so that's.
You can hit it, and because now it's closer to the other wall back there.
Vean más atrás. Dale, claro, nomás puedes usar la boca. Okay, so in real life, they will be really competitive about this because this is what they do.
Probably.
You have to go out with like a ruler and the measure and right in the middle
Soy gracias.